Hi, welcome to the Coaching Game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight my guest is Roberta Mittman. Hi, Roberta.
Hi, Laurie.
Roberta was given to me, my own personal gift, by a longtime friend of the Coaching Game, Sharon Saylor. Hey, Sharon. And I was fascinated to hear what she does because I've always been looking for a person who kind of has a foot in both worlds, like alternative and traditional. And Roberta fits that bill so perfectly. Roberta is a licensed acupuncture, and she's also a health and wellness success coach. Is that right? Okay. And
exactly.
She's going to tell us what all that stuff means and what makes her a little bit different than most wellness coaches. So, first of all, how did you get into this?
Well, thank you, Laurie. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you.
And any opportunity I have to spread the word
Yes,
about
exactly.
the best of both worlds. Like we, in this day and age, we don't have to choose between, let's say, East and West, alternative and traditional. That's what's really so special. We have
now,
options.
in some cases you do. There are some doctors who just don't want to hear alternative, and there are some alternatives who go, no, you got to do it my way.
That's true.
But that's why I love her.
That's true, and that's okay if that's who you're working with. But it's rare that you don't find somebody these days who will say, let me just do my treatment, then you can do that, or here's what you can do while you're having treatment. Like for instance, we can talk about this even more in a minute, but like for instance, I even think of massage therapy as an alternative therapy.
Wow.
I don't know of very many physicians that are going to say you can't have massage therapy, for instance.
Right,
These things
right.
go very hand in hand. However, I feel that it's so fortunate to really have these options. It's up to each patient, I think, to be their own advocate and decide what is right for them. Do you want to do a combination of both, as long as both know what you're doing, so they don't
counteract
counteract each other, and it's safe to do that? That would be my first choice, and it's very complimentary these days. People are
that's
kind
why
of
I was so interested in having you on, because I want people to know there are choices out there.
Oh my goodness,
and
yes.
you know, it's because I was raised, and most of us, I think, in my age bracket were raised, the doctor is God, and he will tell you what to do, and it's all good, and and you follow the rules, and you'll be healthy. And now it's like, but yeah, and that's okay, you can do that, but like you said, there's so much else that's out there that can complement or supplement or substitute. So yeah.
Right, exactly. And when I was raised, and actually to answer your first question about how I first became interested in alternative medicine acupuncture, it really is in my genes. I love to answer this question because my father was an MD acupuncturist over 50 years ago.
Wow.
He was a pioneer. He fell in love with alternative medicine. So I'm dating myself here. But he was like a Marcus Welby kind of guy with his little black bag, making house calls in those days.
We all wanted,
Well, exactly. Yeah. And he was a general physician. And he fell in love with alternative ways to help people. So it was everything from hypnotherapy to acupuncture to actually the beginning of what's called now EFT, which is emotional freedom, the tapping.
Right,
he did that too.
Where did he come from? That's amazing. I mean, it just is now coming to the forefront. Did he get a lot of resistance?
Oh, totally. People thought he was nuts. But he got such great results that everybody came flocking in to see what on earth is he doing that's so successful. So a long time ago, people were like you said, they were a little resistant, but his patients certainly weren't. And so anyway, I guess that's a really long way of saying that it's something I've been very comfortable with. And it really is the way I've structured my practice. And it is also a testament to him in a way that you can do both. That's what he showed me. He wrote prescriptions, he did whatever he needed to do, put people in hospitals, but he also did the alternative approach in conjunction with that so successfully. So that was something I was raised with.
Amazing. Just, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine 20 years ago it would have been mainstream. It's not mainstream now, you know. That was, what courage that took.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And foresight. I mean, really, a man before his time. Or
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
So that's my inspiration.
So you're carrying on the legacy. I love it.
I think so, a little bit,
yeah.
He would be really very pleased to see how alternative medicine has progressed. And how it's more accepted these days, and the things that people really no, that's crazy. Sometimes people are saying it, but now there's a little bit more research to back it up and to say that could be true, and it might be worth a try. So I think he'd be really happy.
Wow, I think he'd be thrilled. So when you say Chinese medicine, or you say alternative, people automatically think of herbs and witches' brews and all kinds of stuff. How do you explain to people what you do? Or do they know already when they come to you? Because that would solve the problem.
That would, but unfortunately most of the time they don't.
Okay.
So I want to tell everybody who might be listening, it's okay if you have no idea. Because you don't need to know anything in advance, and
that's what she's here for.
Exactly. And sometimes people come in with myths and misconceptions, such as these brews, and you're just going to have to swallow 1 million herbs, and it's really just like very woo-woo, and it's just dangerous or whatever. And honestly, it's so, like, as I said, complimentary in many cases. Like, doctors refer to me, and then they become my patients.
Okay.
Because they say, I really like what you did. You got such great results. I'm coming in. So, I work very well with the medical community. So I'm very comfortable with them.
Perfect, yeah.
So what I like people to know are just some basics about Chinese medicine. Would you like to know what some of them are?
I would love to know.
Okay, sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I came prepared with a couple of props because maybe it'll help some people, who are listening to understand some of these concepts just a little better. Sometimes seeing pictures worth 1,000 words, what I say. So Chinese medicine is really based on the concept of balance and the fact that everything works together. When one thing is off, everything is off. The goal is to have balance in your whole body, whether or not it's what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and they accomplish this in many interesting ways and have a really volumes and volumes from 5,000 years ago on how to explain it, and some words that they use to capture that. One of the words that they use is qi, which is Qi.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And that's a word that is loosely translated to be, it's your energy, your life force.
Okay.
Okay, and that's what we want to make sure we don't deplete, and it's what we also want to make sure that we preserve as much as we can throughout our lifetime. And this qi, this energy force, travels throughout your body, not in veins or vessels and things that you can see. It actually flows through these pathways, and they run all through your body, mostly up and down, up to the head and down, and a couple go across.
Now, are the pathways already established in your body, or do you create them and
They are so perfectly, minutely established.
Perfect.
There are, and the acupuncture points are along these pathways, and they're very precise. Like within, like it is not here, not there. It's like here, and they're very carefully marked. So that's why I brought for people to see. And even though you might not live in New York, everybody can certainly relate to what this might be. And this is a New York City subway map.
Yeah.
And along these are stops, and you can see that these are the pathways. You can't see actually when you're on the street. You can't see them, but you know that they're there, right?
Right.
And that's like the pathways of qi, the meridians they're called. And along these meridians are stops where you can access the meridians. You go down the subway stop, down to the subway, right? And those are your acupuncture points.
Wow.
So they help
metaphor.
your stops help you to access the underground here.
It's the subway of your body, the subway system of your body.
True.
Yeah.
And all these different lines are different meridians, let's just say. So this is an easy way, I think, for people to wrap their brain around something that is like, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, but energy is everywhere, even if you can't like actually come in physical contact with it.
Right.
Your cell phone is working with it. Everything is like governed.
When you touch something and you get shocked, that's your energy, and it's like
everything
you couldn't see that, but until the
exactly.
sparks come. Yeah, but yeah.
Good point. So my job as a coach who embraces Chinese medicine and alternative along with Western is to make sure that people live as healthfully with more energy and have more balance and clarity in their life, pain-free, possible stress-free. And the way that I explain to them how that can be accomplished is to, as I said, to maintain, to gather, to really compile all of the qi that you have in your lifetime. And that happens through the food that you eat.
Okay.
It happens from the air that you breathe and the lifestyle that you lead. Think of it as like money in the bank. And it's renewable. But it's also like if you're burning two ends of the candle at the same time, you're sleeping too late, you're eating junk food, you're not taking care of yourself, and you're taking care of everybody else except for yourself, and you're feeling overworked and overwhelmed, that's going to deplete your qi. Okay? And so that's like if you have a wallet, I'm spending my money. And I'm spending unnecessarily money on things that don't serve me. However, if I run out of money, I can actually, there's a bank.
Yay.
And the bank is your
loan?
Well, it can give you a loan, but once that's out, your life force is over. The bank is what you've inherited from your ancestors.
Oh.
That's called your ancestral qi. And that's finite. Once it's gone, it's gone. This is really renewable, this qi, and this is your lifestyle. And this is how you can keep your life force strong.
So using that as the metaphor, if you deplete your wallet, is there a way to get the money back in? I mean, is there a way to get more money in your wallet?
Yes, you have to start living changing, making positive changes. Going to sleep, trying to reduce the stress in your life, eating better foods, whole foods. I can come up with 100 different ways that we all can actually live a healthier, more peaceful, stress-filled, painful life, and that will actually renew money in your wallet, and you won't have to borrow from the bank. It is a renewable resource.
Okay, that's great to know.
But once you run out and you borrow from the bank, you're really
you're done.
Pretty much. Yeah, I would say your life force is over. So when I talk to people, we talk about ways that they can actually preserve their life force and their qi. We talk about the foods. We talk about acupuncture and how that can help to balance their body. We talk about stress, and I use the meridians to help them find the meridian that's out of balance and find out what their stress comes from and what their story is from way back when. What's their story about it?
Wow. So as an acupuncturist,
a lot of information.
It is. My head is going bing, bing, bing.
I know, sorry.
I love it. No, that's great. I love to be stimulated. So as an acupuncturist, you are looking for the out-of-balance meridian or the non-functioning meridian.
Yes.
And then you are saying, okay, here are some things that can get this back in line.
Yes. Acupuncture is one of them. I don't do a lot of herbs, but I do a lot of more Western supplements. So that that one's doctor would know about and make sure that they're studied. They're not, But herbs are great. I'm just not an herbologist. It's just that's it. That's a separate degree.
I get lost in herbs because there's so many, and they do so many cool things. But it's like I would just be sitting around all day taking herbs, and it's like so good. I'm glad you narrowed it down to what because supplements are a little easier for me to understand on a personal level.
Exactly, they're Western. But if I gave you a name of like Yin Chow and I said take this for colds, it's a great formula, but you really wouldn't have an idea of what you're taking. And
Not at
neither
all.
would anybody else.
That's the trick,
problem.
yes.
So honestly, I
Yeah.
don't have licensing. It's a separate license to practice herbology. And so I can do some of it when it's mixed in other things, but it really didn't speak to me as much as working with Western supplements.
Now let me ask you something, because I'm so fascinated with your father. Really, it's just
Isn't that
where
great?
did he come from? I love it.
I
And where
know.
was he when I was looking like 20 years ago? But why did you choose not to become a doctor?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think so.
Yes, well, because I came to this profession, should we say, this career choice later in life. I was always interested in health. I was always the go-to person. I was always taking classes. I was always researching, reading books. It was like that was my passion. But it really wasn't until my children were a certain age that I was willing to go back for all the training. I mean, acupuncture school in itself is 3 to 4 years.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So it takes a lot of training. And I really wasn't in that position at that point. I really loved the alternative part. And I really felt that I could really help people. And if to become a doctor at that point would have been so many years.
Yeah.
I think it made me about now. And I've been practicing for
Still
20
going,
years.
yeah.
Yes.
Meant to be done, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this was really perfect for me because it really was what I found so fascinating. And it was really not only cutting edge, but it was really on the forefront of what was really happening.
Yeah.
And I felt there was more of a need, and I could serve more people by looking at more alternative things that people haven't really thought about yet. And things that have really like come to be as like very valid and natural.
I like that you haven't, that you're working in conjunction with, you know. It's
Totally.
like, let them be the experts, let them do the 8, 10, 20 years, whatever they got to do for the doctors, and yet you're going to complement whatever they do and work in conjunction with whatever they're recommending. And I think that is so needed more than yet another doctor, which I'm not downgrading doctors, of course, but it's just, I think this is such a specialty it's needed,
you.
know.
Thank
it's
you.
just because well, no, not recently. I've got a sister who's like totally into all this stuff, but I'm always looking for. My choices were when I was looking were either or. You pick traditional or you pick alternative. I could not find
Absolutely.
anybody with a foot in both worlds. And then when I was introduced to you, it's like, oh my gosh, here she is, right here in New York City. How fantastic is that? So
Exactly, and now it's a
Yeah.
growing field for the doctors. On the other end, there's something called functional medicine, which can be very interesting for people. They use a lot of, let's say, a lot of supplements and natural things as opposed to medicines, prescriptions. So there's different ways to go. I personally love this. I consider myself to be a member of people's healthcare team.
oh, I like that.
I work with the doctors. I look at their blood tests. I see like if they need certain things, and then I'll say, you know what? I'm picking this up. I think you should ask your doctor about this because I think we could like supplement with this, and you'd feel like a whole lot better. Doctors aren't really trained to do the things I do.
I don't know how doctors have time to keep up with what's going on, to tell you the truth. Yet in addition, add alternative, the medicines are changing. This is good, this is bad. Now it could be good. Yeah, I just don't know how they update. I
It's a
hope
wonder
somebody's
how they
doing
do,
it.
but
Yeah.
it's just very stressful, and I don't think
Yeah.
they really do, and they're not trained to look at the emotional component of things, to look at somebody's lifestyle, to look at all the things that affect somebody. What are they eating? What are they breathing? What are they drinking? What kind of liquids? What's their lifestyle? What's their stress? What are their relationships like? What's the pain like? And how can you treat it from a natural point of view? All of these things are things that I look at, and doctors just aren't trained and don't have the time to do that. And I think it's so important.
No, and I think, I don't know if I would trust a doctor who knew all that together. I like having the team. I like the team. I like a specialist here and a specialist there, and we'll all get together, and that is so needed. From personal experience, way back when, it's like, because I used to have a geriatric care business, and the whole deal is you go to the hospital just to hear what's going on and to keep everything coordinated, because doctors and nurses and other doctors and anesthesiologists don't always communicate because, you know, they're
So
into,
true.
so it was, I love that, I love the team approach. So how do people find you? Where are they going to find you? I know she's in New York City, but.
In New York City and.
Yes, and around the world Skype-wise.
Yes, and, yes, exactly.
Thank you, Skype.
Yes, right. I do have a wonderful coaching practice for people around the world for Skype. I mean, I have
great.
Israel, Germany, California, any place, you know, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
That part of my practice, and it really is to support them.
Now, is
and
it
to
a workshop or is it individual?
Right now it's individual, but I'm going to be starting a group program shortly.
Great.
Yes,
yeah.
a small
Okay.
group program. So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up probably after the first of the year. Right now it's individual.
Okay.
And I really like that because people seem to prefer that, but I like to give people an option.
Yeah, yeah.
And otherwise, I'm at my website where people find me there, which
And
is
that's
my
at the
name.
bottom, Roberta
Yes.
Mittman.com.
Exactly. Physician referrals are always a big thing for me too. And then I'm out speaking and I'm meeting people as I go, podcasts and wonderful programs like yours, and people will be interested in that. Just is the beginning of a possible relationship or just getting some information, because I put out a newsletter that I love to do twice a month.
great.
So yeah, there's a lot of ways to stay in touch.
So you're not hiding.
I'm trying not to. I love to spread the word and talk to people
Yeah,
who might
I
be
do
interested.
too.
Thank you.
I do too. No, I like I said, I think this is just so unique, and I thought it was totally unique, but you told me about your father, so it's not totally unique. He was doing this for a while. But I think it's something that, you're right, more and more people are coming on board and going, you know what? There's a side effect of this medicine, and I think I want to counteract it or just substitute it or whatever they want to do.
Some support.
Yes.
Yes, it's really about support, and it's really about finding some guidance, even if it's the emotional component. It's not necessarily therapy, but the
Yeah.
meridians have emotional
Yes, yes,
components,
yes.
and we work with those. And it really helps to get to the core of a lot of stress and balance things so everything works together, as I was saying
It's
to
like
you.
systemic. It's like
Systemic.
Yeah, it's just
Perfect.
like, okay, let's all go together here.
Perfect word.
Get it all
Exactly.
on board. Tell them about your survival guide.
Sure.
Hold that up a second, because
Okay.
that's so great.
Okay, great. Thank you. This is just a
yeah.
cover. It's a downloadable report, and it's on my website. I offer to the listeners here if they're interested. And what it will do is it gives a couple more basics of Chinese medicine, and it also tells you a little bit about the 5 elements, which I didn't get in today, but there are 5 elements, and people can find out what element they are. And there are certain archetypes and certain correspondences that go along with each element.
It's not like earth, wind, and fire.
Not really, but they're slightly different. But they're 5, and they work together. But if you're
But
a
you're
liver
predominantly-
person, you could be, or you could be a combination of all of them. But you could be more predisposed to go to one. And then it
Okay,
tells you what you
okay.
could do. And then also I have some acupressure points. I call it acupuncture to go, that people could try if they need help with sleep, with stress, with
That's all in that little guide?
yes.
Oh, man. And it's free?
It's free, and it's at
At the bottom.
www.robertamitman.com
And put a
/ survival guide.
Wow. Okay.
Off just for you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, this show is based on the coaching game, and I had asked Roberta to pick a couple cards that would just sort of explain her message, and she picked 4. Which one do you feel is prominent, or the first, or whatever?
Whoa. I would say choice.
Choice. Okay.
That's like my
Why?
MO.
Me too.
This is such a great question. I love these cards.
I do too.
Yeah, you're so,
Thank you.
brilliant. I chose choice because we all have, as a human being, we all have a choice on how we want to, basically how to live our life, how we can keep our balance and our chi together, our lifestyle.
Yeah.
But we also have a choice about how we can find support and guidance too. And it really is up to us to exercise our choice
Yeah.
about eating, about getting help, about alternatives, about just having a choice.
Yeah, I think the time of passively sitting by and being told what to do is slowly coming to an end, or maybe quickly now. I don't know. I hope quickly.
Me too.
Yeah. So, but that's why I wanted you on, because you're letting people know that all the choices that are out there, and it's like just in case you're thinking, and especially my theory was in geriatric care, it's like, your job is to be sick. My job is to keep it straight for you, because you got to be sick and get better. That's your job. I don't think you can do. I think you need help in that. I really do. It's because once you're told, like, you have this, or we're going to operate on this, it's like your mind goes. It just goes somewhere else. So you need someone to do the clear thinking. So I'm thinking that as the role that, and actually, that's interesting, because you chose clarity.
Yes.
And that's how I interpret that. How do you interpret it?
Well, I like your interpretation.
Yeah.
For me, it's also about having clarity about what scripts people are using that no longer serve them, the stories in their head, and we get clarity about whether or not that's really from the past, or is that really now.
Very coach-like. I love that. That's exactly what coaches do, break down the scripts and go, is that serving you? Yeah.
Exactly. That's for me, to give people clarity. And it could be about their health, it could be about their thinking, it could be about their stress, but the mind is like 90% ruling your body. So I think we need to have clarity.
I've always said it's a mind game. It's a mind game. Where does intuition come in? This is one of the ones that you chose also, intuition. How does that come in?
Well, in Eastern philosophies, we tap into people's intuition. We respect that. We don't brush it off. We honor intuition and ask, what is your intuition about what's going on? I think many times it's just something that can be respected, and I love to build people's intuition. A lot of times they don't feel.
Can it be done? I always wonder.
Yes, I think it can.
Enhance your intuition?
And
I
it
love
comes
it.
with a little bit of self-confidence, and to kind of believe in yourself.
Okay.
And sometimes following that leads to really building intuition.
Okay. And the last card you chose was alignment.
Right.
And I can see that the systemic part. It's like, let's get everything in line.
Yes,
and,
that's exactly right.
And because she said, these cards are so perfect for my journey. And it's like, they seem to be after you explained it. Yeah.
Yes, they're perfect. Yeah, thank you.
So what do you feel is your biggest challenge today, doing what you're doing?
I think my biggest challenge today is to have people continue to reach out to alternative modalities. I think to understand and to kind of chip away at some of the woo-woo component to it, where it feels a little dangerous. It feels like, I can't do that. It's like, and in certain areas, like in New York, it's pretty much established, in California, but there are a lot of places around the world and in parts of the country where it's just not done. People just don't gravitate that way.
Right.
And I would love for people to understand that all these things are available, and people have the choice to decide, what do they want to do? Is this feel right to you? Is that your intuition that there could be something else?
One of my hardest thing, the hardest thing I think, is to trust your gut. Because basically, I think down there, but it's like, you hear you're getting bombarded, and it's hard to trust your gut. We're out of time. I cannot believe it. This has been so fantastic.
Yes. Thank you.
I want you to encourage you to go to her website, robertamittman.com, if you want this fantastic Chinese medicine survival guide. Put a / in survival guide. I want to thank you for being on the coaching
so much.
game.
It was such a pleasure.
Fantastic. Thank you.
It went so fast, and thank you very